Hello and welcome back to the Odd Shopper YouTube channel. I'm Isaiah. I'm broadcasting to you from cold Nashville, wondering when the heck spring is supposed to start. And I'm here to break down this weekend's NASCAR race at Circuit of the Americas. So last weekend at Atlanta, we backed the right team. We got Team Penske. Unfortunately, we did not get the winner. We did not get Joey Logano. We had Ryan Blaney. So we were close. The process is there. I'm sure that these picks will turn into winners very soon, and I'm looking forward to this weekend's action at Circuit of the Americas. Before we get into the picks, I'm going to go through a couple of other things. We're going to talk a little bit about Bet365, a new sportsbook this week, and we're going to talk about Odd Shopper Insider Access, which is the only way you can get access to my full NASCAR betting cards each weekend. Let's get into the race preview here. So it's the EchoPark Texas Grand Prix, the only Grand Prix that NASCAR runs. It's at Circuit of the Americas, which is a 2.3-mile road course, which means that it's compared to other road courses. If you don't know what a road course is, it's when NASCAR makes both left and right turns, which, yes, they do that. I know that a few people think that that's not the case, but nope, we do have right and left turns of road courses. The other important thing to note for this event is that rain is not in the forecast. Unlike a few other oval tracks, NASCAR would suspend or postpone its event in the rain, but because we're at a road course, we have the rain wet weather package, which means that we could have race through it. Before we get into the picks, let me talk about Bet365. They have an awesome promotion going on right now. You can bet $1 and get $365 back in bonus bets. I wonder where they got that number from. So I would recommend playing a safe line like maybe Alabama basketball to beat San Diego State coming up in March Madness. That way you get to keep your money and then have those $365 in bonus bets to work with to bet on fun things like, as we all love it, NASCAR. So let's get into the first pick. I'm going to pull up the odds board real quick and bet 365. Now you'll notice that we don't have a ton of value here. The favorites are all pretty short. I'm going to talk about why I'm not betting most of the favorites in a second, but I'm going to get into our pick first. It is going to be AJ Allmendinger at 12-1. He is the last true road course ringer in the Cup Series. He won at the Indy Road Course in 2021 when he wasn't competing for points in the Cup Series, and he won at Watkins Glen in 2014 when he was still running a full-time schedule for JTG Daugherty Racing. He has 7 top 10s in his last 11 Cup Series road course starts, which is super impressive, especially considering he hasn't been a full-time driver in the Cup Series for a while. He was last year, he was a little slow to adjust to the next-gen car, but I think we can chalk that up to him not getting as much seat time in it as his competitors did. He was running part-time. His schedule wasn't the same that they had. He had a lot less time to adjust. However, he ended the year with a second-place finish at Watkins Glen and a fourth-place finish at the Charlotte Roval, which suggests that he did eventually get his footing and acclimate very well to the car, especially once he knew that he was going to be going full-time Cup Series racing this year. The other thing to note with AJ Allmendinger is that he was absolutely dominant at road courses in the Xfinity Series. When he wasn't racing full-time in Cup, he was full-time in Xfinity, or at least part-time for a couple seasons. He racked up 7 wins in his last 15 road course starts in the Xfinity Series. That is an absurd clip. He won Circuit of the Americas in 2022, and he also finished runner-up in 2021 behind only Kyle Busch. So this track isn't a problem for him, even though he didn't do as well as we would have liked him to do at this track last year. I think he'll have time to acclimate to the car by now. I think he's all set for this race at 12-1. I think he's a little bit underpriced, especially relative to the favorites, which we're going to talk about now. So I think there are quite a few names to avoid for this race, and a few of them are actually at the top of the betting board. Number 1 are Toyotas. They led less than 5% of the laps at road courses last year. That means we're passing on Christopher Bell, and we're passing at Tyler Reddick. You look at the board, Tyler Reddick is 9-1. That is far too short for a guy who's driving in a manufacturer that could not do anything at road courses last year. I know that they caught up late in the year. I know that Reddick himself won 2 of the road course races last year. Neither of those things are enough to make him anything more than a pass for me this weekend. Next, we're also going to pass on drivers who are yet to lead at road course tracks in the next-gen car. There are a surprising number of favorites who are yet to accomplish this very simple feat. It's important to know this because every winner last year had led at least once in a prior next-gen road course event, except for obviously Ross Chastain, because he didn't have the chance to do it. He won the first race of the year on a road course at Circuit of the Americas last year. So who are we passing on for this reason? First, we're passing on William Byron. He is still not led at a road course in the next-gen car. We're also passing on Kyle Busch. That's a bit of a shocker here. Kyle Busch is the second shortest driver to win this race at 8-1. Those are great odds. The books expect him to win this race. I mean, not great for bettors, but they are great odds for him. However, he's still yet to lead at a road course in the next gen car. Part of that was because he ran a Toyota last year and the Toyota struggled all season at road courses. But I also think he's not as good at road courses as he used to be. He hasn't won one of these races since 2015 in the Cup Series. So I think that pricing him at 8-1 is not that smart for the books. A couple of other notes. Kyle Larson, he is at 6-1 here at Bet365. At a couple of the books, he's at 15-2. He is probably not going to have his crew chief this weekend because of Hendrick Motorsports' penalty. I don't think you deserve to be the favorite without your crew chief, and I don't think you deserve odds as short as 6-1 if that's the case. Next is Ross Chastain. 8-1, very short. He's the defending winner at this track. That's still not a great price given what he showed at road courses late in the year. He couldn't do anything, really, after the first two road course races. He's most famously known now for cutting around the track at Martinsville, but also he took a shortcut at the Indy road course last year as well, instead of actually following the rules. So I'm going to avoid Chastain here. And the obvious name that goes without saying is Chase Elliott, because he is not in the entry list. He's an important note to make here because he's the winningest active road course driver. So without him in the field, it's much more wide open than it would otherwise be. Before we get into the last pick I'm going to talk about in this video, I want to talk a little bit about OddsShopper Insider Access. That way, with OddsShopper Insider Access, you can gain access to all of our betting experts here at OddsShopper in our premium Discord. You get picks in real time, like live bets. You get access to office hours with people like me so you can talk about NASCAR, which I will always answer your questions about that. I love NASCAR. You also get access to my betting models during the NFL season. There's a ton of awesome perks you get through there. And the great thing is that you can get your first week of access for half off, and then it's just $19.95 after that. So come in for a week, make all the money back. Pretty easy deal. We post a ton of winners. You get access to Eric Lindquist, who has been honestly destroying prize picks lately. So I would strongly recommend doing that. All right, let's get to our last pick. And it's not going to be one of the biggest names on the board. We're going to scroll down a little bit. It's going to be Chris Buescher at 33-1. I love this number. You're going to find 30-1 at most of the major books like DraftKings. You're going to find 25-1 in a few of them. So getting the 33-1 is a steal of a deal. Obviously, he's a bit of a long shot. He has a 33-1 price for a reason. And obviously, we've got some other picks other than those two in both the article that I posted on OnShopper's website and in our Discord. But I really wanted to talk about Chris Buescher here. He nearly won at Sonoma last year. He led a few laps in the process. And he scored a top 10 finish at every road course event except Circuit of the Americas last year, which is excusable because it was the first race that they ran with the next-gen car at this track and at a road course on the year. So I'm willing to overlook that. I'll turn a blind eye to Chris Buescher's struggles here last year because of how great he did at these tracks last year. Also, we did hit a 125-1 ticket on him to win Bristol last year, so I have a fond place in my heart and in my wallet for Chris Buescher. He also meets our filters. Number one, he's not driving a Toyota, he drives a Ford. And number two, he led at Sonoma, so he has already led in the next-gen car at a road course, which is not something some of the favorites can say. And again, I already touched on the pricing disparities. The 33-1 at Bet365 you can get, that number is going to disappear. That will not be on the board after qualifying, and it might not even be on the board before qualifying. I would lock that in quickly, as fast as you can. I really think that number is going to disappear before this weekend moves on. Alrighty, let's go through our picks again real quick. So number one, we've got Chris Buescher, and number two, we have some action on AJ Allmendinger. Those are the two picks I'm going to talk about in this video. If you want to get the others, I recommend giving a subscription to OddsShopper Insider Access or just checking our website. I posted a couple other plays there just before I hopped on to record this video. So our strategy this weekend is to play one favorite, Allmendinger, and then to fade most of the favorites because I really do not like the numbers the books have posted on them. I really think that they are not handling this race well. I think that a few of these guys have numbers that are far too short, and the books are leaving themselves a little bit open to getting burned on some of these other outright markets. But please like and subscribe if you found this video useful. We haven't hit a winner in a couple of weeks, but I think that's going to change this weekend. And as always, it's been a pleasure. See you next weekend, and let's make some money.